Hello friends and welcome. My name's Popeye and today we're playing some more Steins Gate Zero, and as usual I see I did not fix my camera before streams. Let's fix that. There we go, that's better. So yeah, hello Xavier, how's it going? So we're gonna be playing some Steins Gate today, Steins Gate Zero. Before we get into it, there's some trigger warnings about this game. This game is not for everyone. If any of these things makes you feel uncomfortable, please find someplace that is more comfortable for you tonight. This game deals with themes such as rape, suicide, murder, death, abduction, blood, gore, torture, any of those things against a minor. If you missed any of those ones I just said, you can either ask me or you can look down below. There's a whole section solely for trigger warnings because it does happen in a lot of games that I do play, and I want to make sure everyone is comfortable. So yeah, hello everyone. Sorry for having to cancel Wednesday's stream. I had a very sudden social engagement that came up. And before I forget, I'll say this hopefully at the end of stream as well. Next Wednesday's streams, that's, in 4 days, we'll probably be starting a bit later because it's my brother's birthday. So I'm guessing it'll probably start either at 6:30 or 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll play by ear to see how long it goes. I might extend it a little bit past the 9 p.m. Eastern Time ending, just to make up for that time. What did we do last time in this game? Jeez, it's been a whole week now and I've forgotten everything. We finished the third bad ending, which involved us sending a D-Rhine to ourselves, basically saying deceive the world. We then booted back to our first save, where we chose the other option, which was to answer a phone call from Amadeus, and later got that D-Rhine from ourselves in a previous world line. And then what? Oh, and then we were going over to see Maho and Dr. Leskinen and tell them that we basically didn't want to be QA testers for their app anymore. They basically said, sure, but we'd like you to stay, just no pressure to do anything kind of deal. And then we were gonna go out to dinner, I think, with one of the other professors. And as we were in the parking garage, hopping into their car, a dude came and shot a bunch of people, and we had to escape in the car. And our character doesn't know how to drive. And yeah, and at the end, I think the assailant himself gets shot as well. So I think this is just after that happened, except we're now Suzuha, and yeah, let's see what happens. She took a deep breath and waited for a moment, but she still felt dizzy. Actually, she was finding it difficult to stand. Was she hallucinating? Was the whole world starting to get blurry? This has like a cool effect. I apologize if it makes anyone feel nauseous, this like weird double vision it's doing. I could see that totally being a thing. But it is quite cool. Oh, and it also appears... I was going to say it appears to have stopped, but no, it's still going. All the noise of the city around her suddenly felt very far away. It was like she was diving underwater. Was this the reading Steiner ability that Uncle Okran had talked about? Stop calling us Uncle, first of all. Was she starting to acquire it too? Then she realized how warm she felt. The truth hit her. She somehow managed to stagger back to the lab. It seemed she was worse off than she thought. If she could have, she would have fallen to her knees right there. During the war and afterward, when she joined up with her dad's organization, she'd been hurt badly enough to go into a coma several times. This was the first time something like this had happened since she became a time traveler. She looked up to the second floor. The lights were on. She felt honestly relieved to know her dad was there. He walked up the stairs. The door was unlocked. She didn't have the energy to speak, so she tried to silently take off her shoes, and then she tripped. You fell forward.
Suzuha?
Daru was in the room. He saw her and ran over.
大丈夫か?
She rubbed her knee and tried to stand up, but staggered again and fell into Taru's arms.
どうしたん?
ごめん、ちょっとめまいがね。すずさん、体調悪いの？平気ですか?
When she heard those voices, Suzuha finally realized that Yuki and Mayuri were also in the room. She'd let her guard down, she realized. Yuki seemed unconcerned by Suzuha's obvious uneasiness. She walked over with a serious expression on her face.
すずはさん、おでこを貸してください。
Yuki brushed her bangs aside and put her own forehead up against Suzuha's. Suzuha's heart started pounding. She had distant memories of her mother doing this before.
ひどい熱、大変だわ。
え?
Daru put his big hand up to Suzuha's cheek as well.
お、本当だ。
風邪かな。平気。こんなのすぐに治るから。
無理すんなって。今すぐ横になるべきだろ、上皇。
そうですよ。それは分かってる。ちょっとだけ休ませてもらうよ。
Suzuha used the last of her energy to reach the sofa, collapsed on top of it, and closed her eyes. Calm down, she told herself.
濡れタオル持ってくるね。橋田さん、鈴葉さんの着替えは？
こっち。みんなこの中に。もちろん僕中を漁って、はぁはぁ、くんかくんかとかしてないから。
Gosh dang it, game. Okay, we're learning about sniff sniff. An onomatopoeia used to describe the act of smelling something, often used in manga and on the internet. A favorite phrase of perverted gentlemen. Its origins are unclear, but its use has been seen as far back as a popular comic during the early 1980s. I really wish I didn't have to read that. The sad part is you weren't even here, and I'm currently deaf. Well, hello. There's... Suzuha kept her eyes shut as she complained.
適当に選んで着替えさせてあげても？
頼むよ。僕じゃそういうわけにもいかないから。
はい。
As she listened to the conversation going on around her, Suzuha felt a cold towel on her forehead.
どう？悪いね。まゆ姉さん、気にしないで。
僕ちょっと風邪薬買ってくるからしばらくやろう。うん。
いってらっしゃい。鈴葉さん、起きられますか？お兄さんが戻ってく
Why
る
did the
前に
music cut out as soon as Daru
着替えだけ済ませてし
left?
まいましょう。
This music is never a good sign. Suzuha opened her eyes. Yuki was standing over her and looking down.
いや、このままでいいよ。今までもそうしてきたし。
You probably missed all the important plot we're gonna get today. Well, Sam says, I'm worried because Daru just left, and we're talking about getting Suzuha a change of clothing. I mean, last game had a scene with people in a shower, so I'm not... I have low expectations for what they're gonna do here. Hello, Burning Hat. Yeah, I'm ready to just cover it with my face. Yeah, I got the sensor ready. In fact, before Suzuha became a time traveler, there were many times when she'd been unable to rest, even if she was sick. Many times she wasn't able to change clothes or even lie down. Compared to that, this was a lot nicer.
ダメです。風邪はひき
I love
始め
how
が
chat
大変
gets
です
lit
よ
as soon as there's talk of girls taking their clothes off.
でもじゃありません。早く脱いで。
Yuki was a little more forceful than usual as she tried to take Suzuha's clothes off. Suzuha jumped up, surprised.
わかった。やるよ。自分でやる。汗びっしょり。まゆりちゃん、乾いたタオルはある？はい、これ。
I mean, we also already had that questionable scene, what was that, like 4 or 5 streams ago, where someone was fondling someone else. So, I have low expectations for this game, like, yes, and it's to Animal Crossing music. As soon as that music started, I was like, no, please, no. Yuki took the towel that Mayuri had brought from the shower room and gently wiped the sweat off Suzu's forehead and neck. You should come to these streams more. I feel like it's a sad thing that I have to say this isn't the first time that we've had, like, episodes with naked girls or, like, girls in only a towel on this stream. And Samus has missed the shower scene. I don't know what VOD it's in. It's somewhere on YouTube. You can see me, like, being like, is that? Nope, we're not doing that. He went to bed right before it happened.
Suspicious.
Dang it, Hat. Don't do that. Don't give me subscriptions for girls taking their clothes off, please. We're not that kind of stream.
少し我慢してください。子供じゃないんだから。
Too late. Yeah, Samus says, I think that was the case. I think after that scene, I was like, why? No, we're just leaving it here. I wish this wasn't the end of a stream, but yep, it is.
けど、
Suzuha shook as she was rubbed with the towel. She wasn't used to being touched. This was the first time since she was very young that anyone had done this to her.
もういい。自分でやるってば。
Some of these sentences out of context are absolutely horrible.
別に遠慮しなくても。遠慮とかじゃないから。
Suzuha grabbed the towel from Yuki, trying her best to hide herself from the gaze of the other two. She took off her clothes and wiped away the sweat. Her face felt really hot. She didn't know if it was because of the fever or not, but she's finding it difficult to think straight. Probably, Samus says probably. Unless it's a quote about being a skyscraper. I don't think I described that one.
はい、よくできました。あとはこれを着てください。
She grabbed the new pair of underwear and clothes from Yuki. Still trying to hide herself, she put them on. Let's find out. Sarcastically, oh no, we were late. Time to go back into my cabin in the woods. Just the two of us. Wink. I mean, yeah, that fits. When she laid back down on the sofa, Yuki put a blanket on her.
まゆりちゃん、このお部屋って洗濯機はないんだっけ？いつもそれで困るんだよ。まゆし、後でコインランドリーへ行ってくるね。え？そんなことまでしてくれなくていい？
She now has clothing back on. However, I'm still worried. I'm waiting for later when they're like, oh no, we have to give you a bath. I'm like 90% certain that's going to be a thing.
こういう時は お互い様ですよ。そうだよ、すずさん。お腹は空いてます？何か食べられそうですか？
Suzuha looked at Yuki, then Mayuri. She was about to mumble another refusal, but in the end she gave up and pulled the blanket up to her nose. This was really hard.
お腹はそんなに。でも薬を飲む前に食べておかないと。
Good riddance.
おかゆなんかどうかな。
Is that a thing? Are you not supposed to take cold medicine on an empty stomach?
それいいね。じゃあすぐに作りますから、ちゃんと寝ていてくださいね。うん。
ただいまだお。
There are some medicines that you are supposed to take on an empty stomach, or there's other ones that I know you're supposed to do, like you're supposed to take some with orange juice. Yeah, there are ones like that. I know that because I have family who have that. My grandpa has one that he's supposed to take on an empty stomach, so he wakes up at like 5 a.m., takes it, goes back to sleep so he can have breakfast. And my mom has one that you're supposed to take with orange juice because apparently it helps your body absorb it better. I'm not quite sure how that works. I'm not sure what the science behind that is. I'm not really a fan of orange juice. I'm also not a fan of taking medicine. You love it with pulp. Yeah, pulp, I don't like the pulp. Orange juice without pulp is okay, it's not my favorite. I'd rather just have, like, water, or... yeah, water. You usually just end up spitting it back up. Yeah, the smell's fine. Thank you, Samus says, I'd rather have water, or water. Why do we call him Itaru? I know you can't see it because my face is there. He's Daru. Itaru came back from the drugstore a while later.
疲れた。
Daru, I think you need to exercise more if climbing one set of stairs, walking to the drugstore and back, has you out of breath. He was really out of breath. He must have gone running there and back. You're all exhausted because you never exercised, she thought to herself. But for some reason, the sight of her exhausted father made her happy, and she quickly shook her head. Are her eyes not closed? Her eyes are closed! How did you see him? Okay, what's the best juice? Just straight juice, what is the best? My vote is for grapefruit.
Okie dokie.
Taro walked over to Suzuha as he answered.
具合はどうなん?
Grape, not fruit. Okay. Is your grape not fruit? Really? You monster is a banned term? Okay, well, let's allow that. I like grapefruit because I like things that have that, like, citrus tang to it. But Samus is your grape not fruit juice fermented or not? So, true story. I had a grandmother, she's passed away, I don't know how long it is, like 10 years ago now. But she would have just, like, juices and stuff in her fridge for when she had guests over. She didn't really drink it herself. And she had a thing of, you know, one of those, like, plastic things of cranberry juice. It had sat in her fridge so long it started to ferment. So, my dad and I are drinking it, and we're sitting there, and we're like, This tastes like alcohol. And then we ask her, how long has this been in your fridge? And she's like, I don't know, like half a year. We're like, huh, okay.
やっぱ疲れが溜まってたんだな。 Suzuha が休んでるとこ見たことないし。
Cranberry's okay. It's not my favorite. Grapefruit is superior to cranberry. Orange juice is okay without pulp. Apple juice is okay. Apple juice, I don't like it cold. It has to be room temperature apple juice for me. I don't know what it is. Cold apple juice makes me nauseous. If it's room temperature, it's fine.
我ながら情けないよ。
Grape juice is good.
私
Apple juice. Can you get apple juice with pulp? Is that actually a thing? I would take passion fruit over pineapple. I'm not a big pineapple fan. Passion fruit's pretty good. Okay, I was gonna say, like, is there just like apple peel like in your juice? That sounds actually. No, that's still disgusting.
え、
どこかで気が緩んでたんだ。父さんがいて、まゆ姉さんがいて、ルミ姉さんがいて、いつの間にか母さんまで。そのせいで、時々任務を忘れそうになる。
Get cloudy apple juice that's kinda with pulp? Okay, I've never heard of that. Now I just want apple cider, man.
なんだか、この暖かい時間がいつまでも続くんじゃないかって錯覚しそうになったり。
Oh, apple juice with pulp is apparently cider? Okay, apparently I like apple juice with pulp. There you go.
このまま戦争なんて起きないんじゃないかってふと考えてしまったり、普通の女の子と同じような暮らしに憧れてしまいそうになったり。
Is lemonade a fruit juice? Lemons are a fruit. Is lemonade a fruit juice? It would be, right?
それのどこが悪いって言うん？
When Daru spoke, his face was actually serious for once. He was looking straight into Suzuha's eyes. Yeah, we have apple cider. It's a winter only thing here. Like, actually you could get like an apple cider cooler, which would just be like an apple vodka mix. It's not really the same as an apple cider. It was the face of the father she knew so well, the man who was always there for her.
ここを出てどこへ行くつもりなんだよ。
I'm glad Daru was actually being serious here. I thought this was gonna be like a, oh no, lewd things, ah ha ha moment.
それはマシンの中とか。
Oh, a hard cider, I see. Yeah, we have non-alcoholic apple cider. It's a common thing if you're like walking outside in wintertime here. But yeah, we have alcoholic cider too. Alcohol, like hard cider, is more of a summer drink, served cold.
あんなところにずっといられるわけないだろ。
でも
あんなところに娘をずっと置いておけるわけないだろ。
とさ。
For a moment, Suzuha was about to cry. She squeezed the blanket as hard as she could to stop herself. And then... And the music stopped, and I'm very worried. One of your favorite Christmas drinks is toffee apple mold cider? I've never heard of that. Hello, hero. How are you doing? We're just talking about drinks at this point. Crap, what's the one we make in winter called? It's an orange drink. So you make it in a slow cooker. And you take an orange and you pierce it with, it's not cinnamon, what is it? It's cloves. You pierce it with cloves, and then you let it sit in the slow cooker, and I can't remember what other juice goes in it. And then you just keep the slow cooker on, and then you pour it into like a small cup, and you add like a shot of rum to it. That's probably my favorite Christmas drink. That's mulled cider. Thank you, Samus. I didn't know what that was called. I just know we made it at Christmas.
おっと、なんかマジレスしちゃった。
Do we have... Game, why do we have to define what a serious response is? Why is this a thing? Dang it, Samus is... Thank you for making me lose the game. I know, but my curiosity got the better of me. I know you did, but it was one of those things like, okay, what have I missed? What nonsense? Oh, yeah, I shouldn't have read that. A serious response is net slang, the act of responding seriously to a post without joking around or posting memes. If you didn't know what a serious response is, now you know.
とにかく僕は可愛い子と一緒にいられるのが嬉しくて、こっそりハーハーしたりクンカクンカするのが楽しみなのだぜ。
Can we vote Daru off the island? Does this game let you do that?
特に風で汗まみれになってる女の子は大好物です。
What is wrong with you?
やめて。
Also, look at his eyes now. They're usually kind of looking, you know, at the middle of the screen, so they're looking at you, the player. Now they're looking up. What I surmise from this is he's now looking Suzuha in the eyes, and normally he's just looking at her eyes. Favorite cereal? Mini Wheats. Mini Wheats is my favorite cereal.
だったら早く直すといいよ。僕にハスハスされるのが嫌だったらね。
What are you, 65? Mini Wheats, they have the sugar, and I don't know what it is, but the actual, like, cereal portion of it just has more flavor to me. Hello, Chaos, how's it going? We're talking about breakfast cereals now.The Honey Nut Cheerios, where you can actually taste, like, the honey is also good. Regular Cheerios are whatever. There's soggy milk rings, like, whatever. Suzuha whispered back a response, then turned away from Itaru and pulled the blanket closer.
もしかして今の僕の言葉でトラウマ解消しちゃった？ 好感度アップ。
Why are you pouring milk on a channel? See, when I do my cereal, I put a very little amount of milk in, so I can like individually like dunk the pieces of cereal, and then like I'll eat it, and then there's space for the cereal that was like on top to like shift its way in, and then you can dunk some more, and like if you need to add more milk. No, Hero, we finished that ending. We finished that ending. We got through it somehow. We're not in an ending path yet. There's 3 more endings. We have 1 more bad ending, which we're going to do next. And then there's the normal and good ending, which are like chained on. So you do the normal ending, and then after is the good ending directly. So yeah, we have 1 more bad ending to do. Tried apple cinnamon cheers? I haven't tried that one. Are they like the same flavor as Apple Jacks? Apple Jacks are okay. Which is weird because I don't even like cinnamon. I say this and then I'm like, I put cinnamon on a bunch of stuff, so... Daru, shut up. You're disgusting. No one cares.
指と爪の間にいろいろ刺す
Oh, hey, we're back to torture. Yay, let's stick things under his fingernails. Now we're back in my favorite place.
それだけはマジで勘弁してください。すみません。
Yeah, because I was like, I don't like cinnamon. Wait, French toast. I literally want, like, the entire, like, bag of cinnamon, just, like, throw it on there. She could smell the pleasant scent of Mayuri and Yuki's cooking from the kitchen. I'm glad cooking was a part of that sentence.
そろそろ教えてくんないかな。毎日何をしに出かけてるん？
Okay, since we're on the topic of food, if you were to get rid of like one herb or spice from cooking, what would it be? For me, it would be cilantro. I hate cilantro. It is disgusting to me. That's too appropriate. Samus says you weren't here for it, but we literally had to describe the phrase sniff, sniff. We're not going back on that. You had to Google what cilantro is.
僕にも手伝えることあるかもしんないし。
Samus's were no... It's... Daru said sniff, sniff. It's whatever you think Daru and sniff, sniff is, you are right. Probably anise or mustard seed. I don't like mustard either. Anise... Can't remember the flavor of it, but I know I've had it and stuff, so I'm probably okay with it. Samus says it explains so much if you think that Daru's off here sniffing coke all the time.
後で二人きりになったら話すよ
Please don't be alone with Daru. Please don't.
まゆ姉さんには聞かせられない話なんだ
It does sound like a good explanation. Very earthy flavor? Okay, then I would actually love it. There was no way she could tell Mayuri. Three days later. Please tell me you're not singing in the shower. Please tell me you're not singing in the shower. There's water running. We're singing in the shower. Okay. Samus says you get to be here for your first shower scene. Suzuha was still sick. I've got my finger over it. I'm ready to go. Samus, you get to be here for your first shower scene. Thank you for the quote, Samus's. I'm glad you're willing to put yourself in there. I don't do a whole lot of cooking either. I've only like started doing cooking in, I would say, like the past 3 or 4 years. My fiance's father was at one point like a chef, and he's worked, you know, like at fancy hotels. He worked at our university. His food's really good. So I had to get into cooking. 'Cause I would like eat the food and I'd be like, it's good. I have no idea how to describe it. I have no idea what's in it. Chaos's opinions on food are invalid. Wait, you break spatulas? How do you break spatulas? Okay. Because of this, Suzuha was able to eat nutritious food, and her fever had gone down. Now all that was left was to get her strength back. But still, Yuki kept telling her she needed to lie down. If you throw a wooden spatula on the ground hard enough, it shatters. Fair enough. The other 10% is The Witcher. This meant that, for better or worse, Suzuha spent her whole day on the sofa, half asleep. Somewhere in her half-awake mind, she heard a terribly off-key tune. Why would you throw a hand mixer on the ground? It was a bad mix. What if the mixer liked that? What if it's into that? Since she also heard the sound of falling water, it was probably coming from the shower room.
これ何の歌だっけね
A masochist mixer. Suzuha heard it when she was very young. Her mother had been singing it, just like she was now. What exactly the song was about, she just couldn't remember.
もう起きなきゃいつまでも寝てられない
And after you throw the mixer on the ground, it asks you to step on it. It's just how it works. But it went into the trash. Even worse, when she tried to open her eyes, they just wouldn't move. Her body must have needed more rest. Maybe Yuki was right, and she needed to lie down some more. Or maybe, guys, Yuki is like sedating us with her cooking. She moaned and twisted slightly. When she did, the blanket fell to the floor. She didn't feel like she had the energy to pick it up. Did you at least ask for consent? Please don't throw your mixer out of a window. She could sense someone standing up in front of the desk where Daru always used the PC. Whoever they were, they came over and put the blanket back on.
マユ姉さんの匂い
I can get my entire body inside of you, friend. Take that. A laptop? Why was a laptop thrown out a window? And I seriously hope you aren't like a fourth floor apartment building. Toronto had that. If you haven't seen this, there was a woman in a condo building downtown with a balcony who just threw one of her balcony chairs off into traffic below. Don't be that person. I smell big sis Mayu. Weirdly, Mayuri always smelled good, even when she wasn't using perfume. It was a slightly sweet smell, like a pale white flower. It was the scent that had held her all night, on that distant day in the future when she'd lost her mother. Suzuha pulled her legs inside the blanket and grabbed onto her knees like a baby in the womb. Memories went in and out of her mind as she laid there, half asleep.
ママは痛い思いとかしたのかな苦しい思いとかしたのかな
She suddenly remembered what Kagari had said to her after they'd traveled through time. "2036, the day when she'd left. The last second, Mayuri had looked at Suzuha and Kagari inside the time machine and smiled. It was just like the gentle smile on Suzuha's mother's face when she died protecting her daughter.
Suzu-san, 起こしちゃった？ちょっと前から起きてた。何か食べる？
After she said yes, Suzuha snapped back to reality. She was getting weaker. To realize that, she forced her sick body off the sofa. Her head shook, and she had to stop herself from falling forward, but she grabbed the back of the sofa and managed to stand on her own 2 feet.
ダメだよ。そんな急に起きちゃう。もう平気。迷惑かけたね、まゆ姉さん。迷惑だなんて、そんなことないよ。
I disagree here. A Windows XP Home Edition is peak Windows. I had a Windows XP longer than they were supported. But it was fine because it wasn't connected to the internet. Vista was better than 7? Okay, here's my pros and cons. I liked the, UI layout of 7 much better than Vista, but Vista never bricked my computer. So that's a giant plus for Vista. I've worked with clients which are still running, Windows, what was it, Windows 95 or Windows 2000. Just why? Why do you do this to yourself? Myri went to the kitchen and turned on the burner under one of the pots. The sound and smell of bubbling stew filled the whole lab. Myri mixed it with a ladle and stopped every once in a while to taste it. She turned towards Suzuha and smiled. Yeah, Windows 10 has had a lot of issues for me. Every time there's a Windows update, it breaks my audio drivers and my game controller drivers and my microphone. So anytime there's a new update, I can't use my controller, I can't hear anything, and my microphone doesn't get picked up.
作ったの？ユキさんのおかげでマユシーの腕はめきめき上達しているのです。兄さんは？メイクインに行ったよ。その後はバイトなんだって。そっか。
Yeah, 10 isn't that bad, but I've had the most problems with 10.
ダル君がいないからって夜出かけようとか思ってるでしょう。ダメだよ。平気じゃないよ。そういうこと言うとユキさんに叱ってもらっちゃうから。
Hello, Arlet, how's it going?
私がどうかしたの？
Yeah, we're talking about Windows operating systems now. My favorite is still Windows XP Home Edition. I used that for far longer than it was supported. The curtain to the bathroom opened and Yuki came out. Her skin was just a little flush. I'm glad she's wearing clothes. Don't have to worry about that. So I think the first Windows I used was Windows 95. And I had a DOS before that. XP. What have you got against XP, Samus? Yeah, Mac does its own thing. Mac is just stupid expensive. That's the real issue. He didn't like the green start button. I use a Mac. In fact, you can see my Mac just behind me there. I use that for work. I like it for programming. UI is ugly. The start menu is a pain in the app. The boot up was pretty slow. I'll give you that. So I would turn on my computer and I would go get food and come back in 10 minutes. So I didn't have to deal with that. I don't know. I found the start menu the best. It was my favorite to navigate, actually. I have trouble navigating Windows 10 sometimes, because some things are split between control panel and the settings now, and I'll be looking in settings when it's in control panel or vice versa. I will agree with you on that, Samus. I don't like some of the lack of choice they give you on features.
あと1日おとなしくしていること、いいですか？
Except to activate searching. I would do the thing where I don't like to have a bunch of icons on my desktop or like pinned to my bar, so I would pin them to my start menu. So I'd open the start menu and then I'd have them all pinned there. Beyond that, yeah, I would just use the search bar at the bottom.
うん。
Yuzu's answer was less than enthusiastic, but she gave in to Yuki's glare and sat back down on the sofa.
はい、そのまま横になって。わかったよ。
She pouted and slumped down on the sofa and then pulled the blanket on top of her. Suzuha was capable of talking back to big sis Mayuri, who'd never be able to talk back to Yuki.
何？
Your Windows PC is pretty much just for gaming. I do a fair bit on it. I've also realized in like the past 2 years, I don't do anything on consoles anymore. Like I'm not excited about any of the new consoles. The Switch was the last thing I was like, I guess, kind of excited about. Honestly, I think I've bought 3 games on the Switch, and that's it. Like, I would have bought Breath of the Wild, but I played my fiance's copy of that. I bought Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade 2, Torna Golden Country, and Tales of Vesperia. That's all I've bought for the Switch. And then the only other ones I've played on console would be PlayStation. And oh, geez, this is even PS4. This isn't even PS5. Persona 5, Kingdom Hearts 3. That's I think that's all my console games I've bought in the past 5 years, maybe even more.
すずさんってそうしてると可愛いなって思って。
We're back to the Animal Crossing music.
今の姿をダルくんに見せたらちょっと危ないかも。
Linux does run the internet.
そうだね。時々本当に兄弟なのかなって思う
Yes.
ことあるし。
If you haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles, it is a solid game that was underrated, I think, when it came out, and only really saw resurgence with the re-release on the Switch. I haven't played the new version. I've watched some people play it. I don't remember off the top of my head what like the updates are to it. But it is a solid game. Even without any of the side quests, you're looking at easily an 80-hour game. I'm pretty sure when I beat that game, I didn't do all the side quests. My rule with side quests is try and do all the ones that are related to like character and character growth, or like extra bits of story. That's it. If it's like unrelated to that, I usually skip it. Like if it's like a fetch quest or whatever, like unless I already have the goods for it. I'm pretty sure I was like 120 hours on one playthrough of it. Yeah. If you love side quests, pick up Xenoblade Chronicles 1. That game has probably at least 100 hours of side quests. You can buy that game, play it for a couple hours every day, and you would not finish it for an entire year. That's how much content there is in that game.
気持ち悪いこと言うな。
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I haven't touched consoles. I physically have not turned on a console in over like a year and a half. I don't think I've physically turned on a console since before COVID happened.
あれれ、鈴葉さん、もしかして照れてます？照れてなんかいない。
Samus says, I thought you were lurking.
本当に？当たり前だろ。なんで私が。と言いつつ照れてるすずさんってやっぱり可愛いね。萌えだね、萌え。うるさいな。
Samus needs to direct their anger correctly. It was the wooden spatula, I'm sure. Suzuha couldn't say anything, so she just had to turn away. You think it was me? Man, wine is not something I've touched in a long time. I used to play things through wine, and then I found, man, this was probably about 10 years ago. Wine was bad then. It was just easier to dual boot my Mac with Windows. And the only reason I used it is I had unlimited internet at university. So I would download Steam games on it at university and then just use a flash drive to transfer them to my desktop at home. That was the only reason I needed it. And I needed it to download the Windows version of all the games. Okay, now we're talking about wine. Okay, chat. Red wine or white wine or rosé? I hate red wine. Use it in cooking. Don't drink it. Have white wine. That's my opinion. Or no wine. No wine is also an option. Dang it, Hat. We have either no wine or all the wine. That's where chat is. Mayuri told Suzu one more time that she needs to keep lying down, then left for May Queen Nian tiny raise too. Yuki went to the kitchen, added a few seasonings to the stew Mayuri made, then turned off the burner. Fizzy wine is good, like champagne. Riesling is my go-to. I love, like, a dry white wine, like a late autumn Riesling. That's my personal favorite. Okay, we're back to wiping girls down. Gosh dang it, game. Yuki wanted to do stuff like that every day. And each time Suzuha frantically refused. Is this whole stream just gonna be about cleaning girls? What is going on? Just sparkling wine. I've personally only maybe there was one time I just had like a sparkling white wine. But almost every other time it's been champagne. I got my finger back on the keyboard because they're talking about showering again. Don't need that in my stream. The stream is no longer about the game, it's about food and drink we like. I mean, yeah, we've had some streams that have just been like showcasing random technology in my basement for like literally an hour straight. Oh, press the wrong button. Yuki hurried to the shower room. What's my Mac? Okay, so it's one of the newer ones. I actually don't like it. I just got this I don't know, within the past couple months. It's one of the refurbished ones, and I hate it because they got rid of the USB ports, and they just have their Thunderbolt, and now you gotta have this dumb thing, which you plug in to then get all your, like, this is how you get your USB ports. I absolutely hate it. But yeah. What make is the hub? Okay, so first of all, I don't recommend this hub, first of all. It's a Chinese brand. I'm gonna type it in chat because I know it's backwards. It's Zmuipeng. Zmuipeng. I don't recommend it. The reason being is that it's got like another Thunderbolt on it, so it's not using up the port on your computer. I personally find that one, like every 10 minutes, doesn't work, and you have to unplug the whole thing and plug it back into your computer. So I'm lucky I only need the one, so then I can plug the power into the other port. But yeah, like as for USB, it's fine. Like I only use it for USB because I have to do it for mobile development on an iPhone. I hate iPhone. But I have to do iPhone stuff for work. So that's the only reason I have all this. So yeah. You had that issue as well? Okay. I wonder if it's an issue with... If it's an issue cross brands. Maybe it's an issue with the Mac itself. Also, I'm pretty sure this Mac has 2 internal fans, but it can only find one of them. The left side fan doesn't work. I'm pretty sure there's 2 fans on. I'm 90% sure it's got 2 fans, but only the right side fan works. Alright, I gotta get my fingers back on top because we're about to towel down this girl. Yuki came back with a bowl filled with hot water and a towel. She could be stubborn when she got this way. Suzuha had learned that well over the past 3 days. Yuki was just like the mother she remembered. They have protection chips in the Thunderbolt. Yeah. That could very likely be the issue. That, like, especially if it's happening cross-brand, that sounds like could be the problem. She slowly and uneasily stood up. And then she took off her top, trying her best not to let Yuki see her skin. Okay. So, just remembering the context from the previous stream. Okabe was just in a shootout in a garage. It's been like 4 days, and no one's seen him, and no one cares. No one cares that their friend was in a shootout in a garage, because this person's got a cold. Why? Because plot? Yuki seemed a little shocked, but she quickly handed over the hot, wet towel. The best kind of towel. Yeah, like, I like the Apple for development, for developing code. That's about it. I haven't paid for like any of these laptops. My boss pays for like all that equipment I just showed you. All went on the company account. They look nice. They have a good user experience usually, but I don't think that's worth the price when this laptop costs twice as much as my entire gaming PC setup. Yuki walked off, dejected. When Suzuha saw that she was focusing on finishing the cooking, she slid behind the curtains into the back part of the room. Yeah, so that laptop in Canadian was $2,000 before tax. So with taxes, probably about $2,300, and then the iPhone was also refurbished. That was another couple hundred. So all the things I just showed you, the Mac, the iPhone, all the cables, and the yeah, all that was probably around $2,700. So yes. Whereas my whole gaming computer, well, first of all, I got a really good deal. If you've been with me in MIM streams, I bought my tower off of Fire Swamp, who made it, for like one of the monitors, the tower, and like all the cables for, I think it was $300 or $250, because he was getting a brand new computer, and I was looking for a computer, and it was just easier than him having like post it online and find someone for it. And then I bought a wireless card because it didn't have a wireless card. I bought a new GPU, a second monitor, like a USB hub, like a couple things here and there. Like this whole setup probably cost me around $1,000. If I had bought it not through Fire Swamp and I had to actually like pay for like all the components in this tower, probably it would have been like $1,000 at least by itself. Yes. So, Fire Swamp trolled me when he gave me this computer. So he had it set up so that when you opened Chrome... Okay, let's even start before this. So first of all, he set my username on Windows, and it is still this, to Popeye the Sailor Scout, with a drawn picture of Popeye from the cartoon dressed up as Sailor Moon. The desktop background, I don't know what anime it was from, but it was from an anime, and it's just a character, and the subtitle text says, "It was a miracle brought about by perverts." And then when you opened Chrome, it opened up 8 tabs of the Neptunia just doing the Nep Nep song for 10 hours straight in 8 tabs. So yeah, that was how it was when I first turned it on. Somewhere in the Discord there is like a screen grab of me where I have the desktop background. This would have been from several years ago, and it just says, "Well played, Fire Swamp, well played." So I have used Firefox, and I use Firefox for work sometimes, both because I have to, because sometimes you'll have clients that'll be like, "I want this to work in Chrome, Firefox. I hate you if you want your app to work in Safari, you can go die." Also, if you want your app to work in Internet Explorer 9 or lower, you can also go die. But yeah, so I've got like just a bunch of like ad blockers, cookie blockers and stuff, and just my Chrome settings, sometimes it doesn't let me do stuff, so I do have a bunch of stuff that's open in Firefox. Like Bitbucket doesn't work in my Chrome. So any like Bitbucket website is opened in Firefox. Trello doesn't. I guess those are all Atlassian products, so anything Atlassian doesn't work in my Chrome. But on my personal computer, I used Firefox until and this was a long time ago. I'm sure they fixed this by now, but I don't care. When I used to use Firefox like 12 or 13 years ago, its video was awful. Anytime I like opened the exact same video in Chrome and Firefox would buffer twice as long. That's the reason I stopped using Firefox. Yeah, like right now, usually our base support is usually Chrome, Firefox. Sometimes they'll have clients that want Edge. They can die, go away. But we've had clients, one of the ones I'm working with right now, they want Internet Explorer 11. Edge, Edge is probably the best version of Internet Explorer so far. I have used Opera. Fun fact, Opera was the in-system browser for the original Wii. Thank you for the hydrate. So that's the only time I've really used Opera. And I use Brave on my phone for watching YouTube videos so I don't get ads. That's the other browser I use. -5. Yeah, -5 versions is usually fine. Yeah, that's about what we do. But typically we just design for like Chrome, Firefox, unless the client complains. If they're like, this doesn't work in in Edge, then we're like, fine, we'll look at it in Edge, but usually we don't care until the client complains about it. Okay, we can't let Yuki see our body, apparently. Ah, she's... Okay, this makes sense. I wish they had said this, like, half an hour ago. 5 minutes if we'd actually just been playing the game and not just been talking about random stuff. There were scars, both old and new, all over her, and burn marks that might never heal. Your nightmare is creating emails? Emails are okay. My nightmare is deploying something to AWS. To her, these wounds are like medals from the vicious battles she'd survived, and she didn't care who saw them. But she didn't want to let the mother who'd given birth to her, or rather, would give birth to her, see them. Which browser are you thinking of? I'm not sure. Oh, know what feature I hate on Chrome? This is specifically Chrome Mobile. Is the tab groups, and I've tried to disable them. I've gone into the Chrome like experimental things and disabled it, and it doesn't work. But why? Why is like? I guess it's fine if it's like a thing if you're gonna open like 100 YouTube videos and you just want to close them all. Like I get that, but at least give us an option. C-Hat, I am DevOps. That's the problem, is I run full stack. Because we are a small company of, I think we're 11 people. Tab groups has a good use. It's, you're opening like a bunch, you're going like in a deep dive down like a thing, and you're like, okay, like, oh, what was the thing I looked up the other day? Glass harmonicas. If you don't know what this instrument is, look it up on YouTube. It's cool. It's, if you know when people, like, especially in, like, talent shows, have, like, the glasses of water and you, like, wet your finger and you, like, spin it around the glass and it makes sound. It's that. But instead, take all of the cups, smush them together as if you were, like, stacking them, turn it sideways, put it on a rotisserie, and then you can make sounds by putting your fingers on it. It looks awesome. The actual practicality of it is, like, nothing. But it's a cool looking instrument. We are always looking for people, Samuses. And we're basically just, I don't think we're gonna ever go back to having an office. Like, we had someone work from New Zealand for a year, so, like... the things we're looking for right now, we're looking for a DevOps. We're looking for DevOps, someone who knows AWS and Terraform. Please, I don't want to touch Terraform anymore. I hate it with a passion. Yeah, everyone wants DevOps. Okay, here. Let me open a notepad. Send. I think our hiring page is wildly out of date because, like every other company, we don't have time to update our own website. So it's like from 5 years ago and doesn't have all of our new employees. So we're looking for that. for whatever reason, we've had a bunch of projects recently that are Ruby with Ruby on Rails. Why? I hate it. I'm the one working in all those projects because I was the only person who had any Ruby experience, and my experience was 6 years ago I took like a 4-week course on it. So, so there's that, and then our front end is typically React, Node.js, MySQL or PostgreSQL with a Node backend. I mean, I can show it to you, Samus. I can tell you exactly what we're looking for, and you can decide from that. We're looking for someone with at least like 1 year experience. We don't mind like hiring people straight out of school. Like, we're looking more for people who are willing to learn and like have that ability to like learn and be team players. That's usually what we're looking for. I've only met one person in my life who liked DevOps, and he was a fantastic developer. He looked like if Weird Al was a developer with like the like chest length curly hair. He was an amazing developer. He knew what like everything was. Like, maybe had a bit too much knowledge in his head, but like if you came to him, like, even though I knew he was like working on like he was behind working on stuff, he had like 3 times the amount of work I had. He would like sit down with you and go over stuff. He also had a house party where he just ordered a crap ton of Lego and everyone got to build Lego at his house, which was awesome. Want to know why none of your projects have ever been completed? Because you get distracted and move on to something else. That's what I do. Also, I'm just realizing I've just had up on screen but have not read it. Especially not the dozens of pale white marks around her breasts.
母さん
Typical DevOps earns far too... Yeah, I mean, no one wants to do it, so the people who do it get paid a lot. You still remember that nightmarish day. The bullets which killed her mom had lost their power as they passed through her organs, but still managed to dig deep into Suzuha's skin. I mean, the other thing for DevOps hat is, we had a client, we asked them, when do you want to deploy this? Their response, 3 a.m. If you want me to be up at 3 a.m., you're paying me like triple. I'm not dealing with that crap. And it wasn't something that could be like automated to deploy. No, you'd have to manually deploy it at 3 a.m. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. When they did, they were covered in your mother's blood and flesh. So, yeah, so I worked with a client, this was about a year ago. It was, the gist of their product was, they were like Hotels.com, but for dentists. So like in Hotels.com, like there's availabilities you can book through and get a discount. It's basically the same thing, but for dentists. And of course, all the dentist's office are like, yeah, we want the install outside of hours. So, oh, and I swear, every single install I was on, they were on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. So they're like, yeah, can you do it at like 10 p.m.? And I'm like, wait a second, you guys start your day at like noon for me. Can I just deploy it at like 9 a.m. my time or like 8 a.m. my time? And that's how I got around it. I'd wake up at like 7 and deploy things at 7 a.m. When they did, they were covered in her mother's blood and flesh. I love the, like, just the difference between like our conversation and then I come back here and it's like, yes, people shot bullets through my mother and like it came into me like with her flesh and blood. And I'm just like, geez, what is going on? The scars would probably never heal completely. To Suzuha, they were her mother's grave. She shook her head to try to get the nightmare out of her mind. She took her bottoms off too and then wiped herself clean all the way down to her toes. Then she put on a new pair of underwear. I mean, some of the endings are pretty long. The first ending we did, even like without talking to chat, was still probably like a solid 3 hours. It took us about 5. But I can confirm, games take like twice as long when you're streaming. When I'm like looking at a game, I look at like howlongtobeat.com to see how long it is, and then I add half that time back on, and that's my estimate for how long it'll take to beat it. No, you don't have to shut up. I love these side conversations. They're interesting as well. And then we just all come back to the game and we're like, what happened? And then we all like learn what happened again. So that's fine. But yeah, I think based on my original estimates, this game has about 20 more hours of gameplay. It was only after she finished putting on her newly clean clothes that she felt human again. Thank you for the host, Harlot. Someone on YouTube. Why the hell have you sat on this screen for 30 minutes? Also, someone on YouTube. Why is he, like, doing stretches on a ping pong table while holding a computer monitor? Because that happened at one point. Why is he, like, showing off, like, random pieces of, like, Atari technology for half an hour? When she came back, Yuki was putting bowls filled with stew and salad onto the table. Hello, Irish. How's it going? Here's your hydrate. Their eyes met, and an awkward silence filled the room.
できました。
They can't prove chat exists. They also can't prove that during that one episode where I forgot to enable the microphone of my fiancé, that I wasn't just talking to myself the entire time and leaving out half the dialogue. Yuki broke the silence first.
ありがとう。どのくらい食べますか？いや、いいよ。それくらいは私がやる。
Suzuha put just enough stew and salad for her meal onto her own plate, then made a plate for Yuki as well.
すみません。いや、こっちこそ食事の用意なんてさせて。
Live streaming interviews? There's an idea. Yeah, no worries, Eilish. What did I call you? Eyelash? Irish. Thank you for the lurk. So here's where it gets confusing, Samuses. I can tell you what the law is in Canada, and this differs from the US. In Canada, you are allowed to record someone as long as one person in the conversation knows that they are being recorded. For example, you and I are having a phone call. I'm recording it. I am part of the conversation, therefore I don't have to tell you. Yeah. So, you get interesting stuff like that. Okay, it varies from state to state, but it is legal. Good to know. The two sat on the sofa and filled their mouths with stew and salad. The stew had a mild, gentle flavor. Felt like something Mayuri would make. Yuki, what is this face? Why does this face look so non-human? Why are you staring into my soul like a robot? What is going on? It's human stew.
私はいいよ。柄じゃないし。そんなことないと思いますけど。
I wouldn't be surprised if this game would break the fourth wall.
まあいつかね。いつかっていう人は結局最後までやらないんです
She
よ。
looks like she's got the face of that anime character who does like the gif with like the eyebrows going up and down and it zooms in on her face.
それさっきも似たようなこと言ってた。
Also, hold on. The like piece of whatever that is on the spoon kind of looks like a melting Iron Man face, and I can't not see that anymore. So now you all get to see it too.
そうでしたっけ？うん。
Maybe there's another like superhero villain it's closer to. I'm not a big superhero person. And then the conversation ceased for a time. Suzuha slurped down her stew. She had terrible manners. I mean, okay. You grew up in a future where there is world war, nuclear fallout, nuclear winter, and an apocalypse. I'm sorry, table manners are not the highest priority thing to teach your child. And try to come up with something to talk about. This time it was Suzuha's turn to break the silence. We had a drink that looked like Baymax. After what she just remembered, she couldn't bear to be silent around Yuki.
さっきの歌だけどさ。
Oh, we're back to the song.
なんだっけ？
Do you have a cat named Baymax? That would be amazing.
シャワールームでほら。もしかして歌ってました？私。恥ずかしい。
I guess with cats,
下手なのに。
cats aren't like dogs. You can rename a cat. The cat doesn't care. The cat doesn't listen to its name anyways. You can call it whatever the heck you want. It won't care. It won't listen to you. That is a dog person. Renaming a dog, that's a problem. Your cat listens to you? But you should probably keep this cat, Samus. It sounds like a good cat. Cats recognize their names. Cats just don't listen to you because cats are assholes. Yeah, cats aren't mean. Cats just do what they want. They just don't like to be controlled. No, I'm with Samus's. Cats aren't mean. Cats are just, like, strong, independent cats. They just do whatever the heck they want.
印象的なところだけ覚えてるというか、子供の頃に流行った教育番組の歌か何かだとは思うんですけど。役に立てなくてすみません。鈴葉さんはいつ頃あの歌を？私も子供の時かな。お母さんがよく歌ってくれたよ。優しそうな人ですもんね、鈴葉さんのお母さん。
Conversation flowed so natural that she didn't think about how she responded. Yeah, I've been swiped by a cat. In high school, I had a friend, and he had a cat who was diabetic. So, like, before we went to school, I'd have to hold down his cat so he could give his cat his insulin shot. And his cat would sometimes scratch me. Would get me, like, across the hand or whatever. Thank you, Samus's. At least that time, I'm like, okay, Automod, I can see that being something you block. What did it block before the word monster? Like, who cares? Like, what are we, like, 5? Like, is it gonna block Poopy Head next? Like... A second later, she realized what she'd said and then stared at her mother. Poopy Head's fine, there you go.
どうしました？あ、 私の母さん。どういうこと？どういうことって、一昨日お見かけしまして。
Also, this is awkward now because they've like zoomed in, so we can't tell that Suzuha's eating, so she's just standing there in a conversation like this.
ですから、一昨日ここを訪ねていらしたんです。そんなバカな。お母さんが来たらおかしいんですか？だって。
There's no way she could say her mother was from right in front of her, and also from the future. That is one major cold sweat. Confused, she fell silent. Yuki, for her part, must have come to some conclusion about the reason for Suzuha's reaction. She started to stammer and fidget. The cold sweat transferred! It's on her face now! Also, it multiplied into 2.
私、何も知らなくて、もしかしてお母さんとの間に何か？いや。
So who's pretending to be our mom?
喧嘩をして家出してるとか？そういうわけじゃ。今にして思えばなんか変ですよね。お母さんたら橋田さんには着替えや差し入れを持ってきていたのに、鈴葉さんには何も。と、兄さんに着替え？差し入れ？
The burning mom. Okay, Hat, you have to buy everyone food and clothes, apparently.
はい。
Suzuha thought as hard as she could and finally reached an answer.
あ、そうか。
Are we gonna have a stew-off to see who's the best mom in chat? Yuki was talking about Daru Hashida's mother. In other words, Suzuha's grandmother, who she'd never seen except in pictures. Since she'd told Yuki that she was Ataru's brother, it was natural that she'd make the wrong assumption.
どうしました？
Do I really want to know what Daru's mom looks like. Food Wars style. Samus's timed out burning hat, reason being a mom. So yeah, if we do it Food Wars style, all the judges are gonna like lose their clothing. So everyone who's judging, just bring a change of clothes. Just saying that right now. Also, if people have only watched Food Wars, watch Yakitate Japan. It preceded it. It's about bread, and it invented the eating food gives you strange reactions and like coming like out of nowhere with like crazy food stuff. Watch that. You watch it for the plot. Also, at the end of Yakitate Japan episodes, they give you the actual recipe to make the bread they made on that episode. So you can learn how to make actual bread from watching the anime. Suddenly clothes appear on Chaos. Taru said even a word to her about it. This wouldn't have happened. That was stupid. She'd have to give him a lecture later. I do like Food Wars. I've watched every episode. After I'd say season, was it 3 and on, wasn't as good. The first 2 seasons are fantastic. But I still watched every episode. Well, Suzuha was thinking about talking to her dad. About the talking to her... Am I dying or is the sentence bad? Well, Suzuha was thinking about the talking to her dad was going to get. No, it's just grammatically incorrect. Yuki'd already started to sympathize with her imagined plight. You need to finish the last season. I do. So what was it? Seasons 3 and 4 I thought were subpar. I thought season 5 was actually a good ending. I thought it was superior to the previous 2 seasons. Oh, they're using talking to as a noun? Okay. I see. Let's go back and look at that. My brain needs to understand. Okay, I see. I read talking to as like... You know when they do the thing of like... They start a sentence and then they have a dash to like indicate like a second thought inside of that. And then before going back to the original thought, that's how I was interpreting it. Not as like talking to as a single word. But yes, that makes sense. For some reason, her eyes were starting to well up.
ありがとう。
I agree, Samus's. I agree. Suzuha didn't know how to react to this, but she felt a little embarrassed.
やっぱり優しいんだな。母さんは。
Thank you for making automod not be automod, Samus's. Like here. Here is a perfect example of how to do internal dialogue, but they do the thing sometimes where it's like inside a sentence where it's like, it's internal dialogue, did I just say dialogue? Dialogue. And like the whole thing's not in, they could do it better. Dialogue is when you're like talking, but you can't like finish the sentence. Exhibit A. Just like she told Daru, this place was too comfortable. You're starting to imagine that this life would continue forever. When your mouth is moving faster than your brain. Yeah, that works as well. But ending this brief, happy time beyond the horizon of the world line was supposed to be Suzuha's mission. If she didn't, this world would be destroyed. I mean, it is 10 o'clock for me. My current sleep schedule sees me going to bed, I would say about 1/2 midnight. Don't fall asleep at your desk. Fall asleep in a bed. Beds are better. But yeah, my sleep schedule has really changed. Yeah, there you go. Samus thinks Burning Hat should be going to bed. Because I used to be that kind of person where about 10 o'clock I'd be in bed, I'd be asleep by 10:30. I'd also wake up earlier. I'd wake up at like 6 o'clock most days. Maybe 6:30. And then, also we finally have a date. It's now mid-late December. Pre-Christmas December. But yeah, yeah, then I switched and I would start going later. And basically my sleep schedule is now going to bed around midnight, waking up sometime around like 6:30 to 7. Because I haven't had to actually go into the office, it's not as bad. Anytime I had to go into the office, I'd wake up at 6 o'clock. But I haven't had to do that in a year and a half, so I wake up at 7 now. I'm still a morning person more than I am a night person. So I actually like waking up at 7 and working, like going right to work, working 7 till 3. Yeah. As I walked into the maid cafe, May Queen Nian, Tiny raised too. The cat-eared maids working there greeted me cheerfully. It was a weekday evening, so there are more open seats than usual. Except we have the exact same art for it. Yeah. Yeah, if I... Waking up before 6 is now just a pain. I had to do it... Can't remember why. There was something I had to do a couple months ago where I had to wake up at like 4:30 and I hated it.
ああ、今日はマユリは？
マユシーならもうすぐ来るにゃ。あと30分くらい。
そっか。
Mayuri had been working here for a while now. Her maid name was Mayushi Nyan Nyan. When she was a maid, she wore a long blonde wig and cat ears, and looked very different from her usual self. Why are you telling us this? I guess because we've booted back to the first save, we actually haven't seen her in the maid cafe. Yeah, I used to work at a bank, and I would get there at like 7:30 in the morning, and they wouldn't let me leave before 4 o'clock. And like literally one of the first things someone asked me when I got there is like, hey, can you work 10 to 6? And I was just like, no, because my commute there was like I don't know, 50 minutes ish. So if I was getting home at 7, like, just like there's nothing you can do at that point. So I was like, no. Yeah. Before that, so the training before I went there, the training was like literally the opposite side of town. So I was waking up at 5:30, out of the house by 6. Driving for two hours, assuming there were no accidents. If there was an accident, add another hour. One way. Get there, and then I would leave at like 4 o'clock. So I was out of the house at minimum 6 to 6, sometimes 6 to 7 if the traffic was bad. Yeah, commuting sucks. It was ridiculous. Like, I'm trying to think. I had to fill up, like, I had to fill up on gas twice a week. YouTube, why do we care about this daily schedule? Yeah, I was filling up on gas twice a week. I was probably doing... Trying to do some quick math on this. About 800 kilometers a week was my commute, approximately. So yeah. It was not fun. And I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. Yeah. If as much of my commute that can be public trains as possible is best. I don't care if it takes longer, I can do stuff. I can sleep. Yes, Hero. Go to bed. Have a wonderful sleep. Because yeah, if you're on like a train or a bus or something, you can sleep, you can read, you can listen to a podcast, you can watch a YouTube video. Like, there's so much stuff you can do that you can't do if you're driving a car. If you're driving a car, like if you have someone with you, you can talk, you can listen to music, the radio, but that's it. I looked toward the back corner and saw a silhouette sitting next to the window with the sun at its back.
今日は知り合いが一緒なんだ。メイドカフェ初心者なんで。
That's only 5 hours. Here, go to bed, and then sleep, and then wake up, and then sleep some more. I called to Maho. She was fidgeting outside the store, apparently unwilling to come in. Oh, you're saying in general you're going to bed at 5 a.m. and then waking up at 10. Still, get more sleep than that. Yeah, so my company, we went fully remote when COVID hit. We were already partially remote. We were already working from home like 2 to 3 days a week. And you could get away with 4 if, like, I don't know, like you had a dentist appointment. So I was going in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Friday. But yeah, we've been fully remote for a year and a half, and our lease ran out on our office, so we're probably not going back anytime soon. I'm actually imagining we're going to be fully remote for the foreseeable future. Yeah. It's just such a savings. It saves everyone's time. It makes everyone feel better. It saves the company a whole lot of money. I don't even want to know what, like, renting... Our office wasn't even that big. We were sitting 1, 2, 3... 4. We were sitting 6 people in our office. I think officially it was listed as like a 5-person office, and we squeezed 6 in. I mean, haven't you banned Hat? You've timed Hat out this stream already, and I'm pretty sure I let you ban Hat once. You know what? Ban Hat again. See if I care. Then unban him. There we go. Samus is banned Hat. I'm pretty sure that's the second abuse of power Samus has used. I need to make like the ban Hat command, but instead of being like banning Hat, it's just gonna be like Samus has abused his power to ban Hat again.
いや、そんなに驚かなくてもいいだろう。
しかも背の高さから見て小学生か中学生？
違う。
信じられない。フィリスというものがありながら。
And here redeem the Discord.
新しいロリ恋人を作るにゃんて。
Hero. Let me see if you're... So the Discord is shared by Mim and myself. If you're already in Mim's Discord, you are in the same Discord. I don't think I see you here. I do not. Okay, let me do that, because Samus says his thing crashed. Okay. Can I quick whisper you from here? Yes, I can. Where the heck does the whisper thing go on this? Okay, Streamlabs is being a butt and not letting me quick whisper you. Let's do... what does this do? There we go, that pops it out into Chrome, and then clicking whisper crashes. What the heck is wrong with you? Okay, give me a sec. I have to actually open up Twitch. It's being a giant pain. Let's not watch my own stream. It is not your fault. Twitch is just being Twitch. Okay, did I spell your name correctly? Hero of the Undead, yes. There you go, it has been whispered to you. You tried to convince Chaos to ban Hat? Okay. There we go, that whisper is sent to you. Let me know if you didn't get it. If not, I will fix that after stream. Actually, let me add that. Oh, I can see you've joined. Perfect. Beautiful. Meanwhile, I'm sure Samus is writing up a thing of like... Meanwhile, YouTube's like, who's he adding to Twitch? Why is he talking... who's he adding to Discord? Why is he talking about Discord? There we go. I actually didn't... Usually I close Discord for streams. Because usually I'm like, it just uses up resources and I'm almost rarely using it. YouTube, what's Discord? Yeah, YouTube's still stuck at the point of time where they're like, is that like a TeamSpeak 3 server? Like, what's going on?
違うって。彼女はアメリカの大学から研究のために。
これはもう円卓会議で糾弾するしかないにゃ。
人の話を聞いてくれ。
一体何の話をしているのかしら。
Yeah, you just don't read YouTube chat. It's like the first rule of YouTube. You don't read YouTube chat. Maho had finally made it inside so we can add her character art. She was staring at me and Ferris with suspicious eyes. It's like, gosh, Suspicious Eyes should be my favorite, Elvis song. If only Elvis was here to sponsor us. I'd gone with Maho to the police to talk about the attack again. After that, we both realized we hadn't eaten. So I'd brought her here. Wait, okay. So, all the stuff we just did with Suzuha was there was never a date for it, so I guess it was in the past? It was just like an aside of like, hey, we just murdered some people. Want to have like a 1.5 hour, well maybe like 45 minutes if I wasn't streaming this, side story about a girl taking her clothes off? Thanks, game devs. Bear stood up to her full height, gave a cute little bow, and then did one of her cat-like poses. You're so tired that none of this makes sense. Gosh dang it, so you have meowsters and you have mewstresses.
そういうことなのね。
Samus has used this command. Suspicious. 25 people have seemed suspicious.
フェリスニャンニャンだにゃん。お嬢様、お名前は？ヒア城真帆よ。
20 of those are confirmed to you. Yep.
ヒア城というと沖縄のお嬢様かな。あら、よく知ってるのね。 いつも聞き返されるか間違えられるかのどっちかなのに、しかも沖縄の名前ということまで。当然だにゃ。フェイリスは3世代前の前世で
Hero used this command. Suspicious. 26 people have seemed suspicious. There's like 3 things I need to look up from this sentence alone. Hypatiroma, a legendary island whose name written in kanji means the island between the shining summer waves. It is said to be even further south than Teruma Island, the southernmost occupied land of Japan. Okinawan, Pai means south, Hati means end, and Roma means coral reef, so put together it means the southernmost coral reef. The Okinawan faith has always believed that beyond the sea lies a mythical utopia called Nirai Kanai, and Pai Patiroma is believed to be a variant of this. Jeez, this is long. Another explanation says that geographically it could refer to Taiwan or Luzon Island, but the truth of both theories is unknown. Another island in the Yaeyama Island chain, Yonaguni Island, has a belief in a legendary island called Haidounan. This shows how deeply the Nirai Kanai belief is embedded in this area. And then we have the Kingdom of Ryukyu, a kingdom that would later become modern Okinawa. The country had a long history that stretched over 4.5 centuries and served as a major trading point in the Asian region. The capital is located in Naha at Shuri Castle. High-ranking noble families called Wikata built castles called Usuku on top of mountains and hills and ruled over them in their own local areas. In 1609, they were invaded by Satsuma province and were forced to pay tribute both to Satsuma and to the Edo shogunate. Even so, the kingdom was allowed to keep its independent status, but in 1879, the Restoration government forced it to hand over Shuri Castle and officially became a part of Japan. Religious rituals played an extremely important role in the life of the Kingdom of Ryukyu. These rituals were held by... Your "by" is missing a space. By priestesses called Noro. Jeez, that was long. I'll be honest, when Barris was talking about this, I thought it was mumbo jumbo, like she normally talks about. But this was actually a large amount of Japanese history, geography, and religion, which will all be on the test. I'm sure Samus loves to have it on the test. Now we have the coldest hat. Samus does love tests.
はい。 の頃、フェイリスたち精霊の声はノロを通じて人々に届き、王国を正しい
And there's
姿へ
more.
導いていたのにゃ。
Noro. Festivals and religious rituals play an important role in Okinawan life, and it's always the job of a woman to lead them. The school of thought says that it's the woman that speaks with the gods, is one found all around the world. During the time when Okinawa was still its own independent kingdom, royal government specifically designated priestesses called Noro, who had greater authority than the high-ranking nobles. Most important of them, the Kikoi no Okimi, the great lady who hears and prospers, was second in rank only to the king, and her influence extended even into politics and judicial matters. Since the Noro were an official rank of the Okinawan kingdom, their only remnants now that the kingdom is gone are a few of their descendants. Thus it is a civilian priestesses and spiritualists called Yuta that perform modern rituals. The room temperature hat! The tepid hat?
ところが、荒ぶる怪人たちがパイパティローマに攻め込んできて、ついにフェイリスたちは。
Okay, so Ferris is making up a giant story. She's just using actual locations and religious beliefs that we all need an explanation for. The hattest hat.
ごめんなさい。
The hat burning.
この人は何を言っているの？
The-ist the.
なんというか、秋葉で通じる特別な言語のようなものだな。
そうなの？
あまり考えると頭がパンクするぞ。
すでにパンクしそうなんだけれど。
とにかくしばらく待っててくれ。向こうに座ってる友達と話があるんだ。
I pointed to Daru. When she saw him by the window, her eyes narrowed.
ずいぶん大きな人ね。
後で紹介するよ。少しは痩せるように言ってやってほしいな。
それじゃあ、マホニャン、お席へ案内するにゃ。
Now the maid had just finished cleaning a table.
マホニャン？かわいいにゃん。できれば普通に呼んでもらえない
I'll be honest, I'm surprised she didn't call her Meowho.
これが普通だにゃん。さあ、こちらへどうぞ、マホニャン。
Maho remained dead silent, and she was led to a seat near where Daru was sitting. You need to sleep before you die. Okay, have a nice sleep, Samuses. I don't think we'll be going too much longer, but I understand. It's already past your bedtime. I headed to Daru's table, too. Daru looks pissed. I sat across from him and ordered some coffee from a nearby maid. Oh, cool. Could be because we're a normie now. Good night, Samuses. Especially chat.
違うんだよ。
何が違うんだ？あんな合法ロリコ。しかもすごく可愛いのに、なんだか垢抜けなくて残念な感じがたまらないよ。オカリンのくせに生意気だ。ぬふ。
Please don't get a catchphrase. There you go, hats banning themselves. I glance over at Mahu, who's staring at the menu and trying her best to keep up with Ferris. Oh, do I have my phone back? Yes, I got my phone back.
そんなことはどうでもいいっつうの。問題はオカリンが僕を差し置いて可愛いおにゃの子を連れ歩いているっつうことなのだぜ。
お前もすればいいだろう。デートとか。
嫌味だと？さらにできるようになったな、オカリン。
嫌味じゃない。ユキさんを誘ったらどうなんだ？
ぐぬぬん。
まさかまだ全然アプローチしてないのか？
いいんだ。僕は 魔法使いになるんだから。
Wizards. There's an urban legend that if a man is still a virgin past the age of 30, he becomes a wizard. And also say that further training can make him into a fairy. I thought it was 40, not 30.
鈴葉が生まれてこなくなる。
それを言われると。
ユキさんのこと嫌いじゃないんだろ？
そりゃ綺麗な人だし、太ももとかうなじとかハーハーするけど。
No, Daru.
やめないか、変態。
変態じゃないよ。変態紳士だよ。
どっちでもいい。俺は恋愛的な意味で言ってるんだ。
Daru leaned over the table and sipped his iced tea through a straw.
そういうのよくわかんないんだよね。
って子供か。
今日のお前が言うなすればここですか？
We stared at one another. He was right. When it came to romance, I didn't really have the right to talk.
まあいいや。そういう話をしたくて呼んだわけじゃないし。
Hello, Ella.
確かに。本題に入ってくれ。
うん。実はさ。
Must be serious. They cut all the music. Here, Daru stopped and casually looked around. There weren't many people in the cafe, and thanks to Ferris, there was no one sitting near us. As long as we didn't yell, there was no risk of being overheard. But Daru here looks like he's like a mad scientist who's about to tell us about aliens. I realized that the old me's habits were coming back. It's because I'd just gone through something out of a Hollywood movie.
まず一つ目な。マユシには内緒にしてほしいんだけど、人を探してるんだよ。
マユリに内緒？
うん。
なんで？
ちょっとね。
He seemed reluctant to speak.
オカリンってさ、マユシの幼馴染だろ？マユシの友達か知り合いで、カガリって名前の子知らない？
カガリ？
Of course, I didn't know every single one of her friends, but I'd never heard that name.
いや、俺の知ってる限りは。
じゃあ、名前は置いといて、マユシと特別に仲の良かった女友達とかは？
そうだな。
There was a group of kids she used to play with in elementary school. I told Daru their names. Of course, he knew all our friends since high school. He was especially close to Fubuki and Kaede from our cosplay group, as well as Ferris and the other mates at May Queen Nian Tiny Rays too. There was also Luca, even if he wasn't a girl.
俺が答えられるのはこの程度だ。お前が知ってることと大して変わらない。すまないな。
As we've gone so far back, Kagari doesn't exist in Okabe's memories anymore.
それでも十分だ。助かった。
Daru took out his smartphone and wrote down the names of the girls I'd given
なん
him.
でマユリ本人に聞かないんだ？
まあ、いろいろあって。
というか、誰なんだ？カガリって。どうして誰がその人を
Daru was unconsciously tapping the table. He seemed to be deciding how best to explain it.
実は僕じゃなくて、鈴葉が探してるんだよね。
鈴葉が？なんで彼女がマユリの知り合いなんか？
No, wait, if Suzuha was
それ
involved...
はつまりマユリの未来に関係あるってことか。だからマユリには言えない。
まあね。その子の名前さ、椎名カガリって言うんだと。
椎名？
うん。
マユリの親戚か何かか？
そうじゃない。いや、そうじゃないこともない。マユシの娘なんだってさ。
ああ。
Oh. He said it so natural that I almost missed it. I see, her daughter, huh? Her daughter. What does daughter mean again? Daughter, daughter, daughter. Mayuri's daughter.
声がでかいっつうの。
I swallowed my words as best as I could.
本当なのかそれ。
ただ実の子供じゃないらしい。繊細孤児だったのを養子にしたとかなんとか。
A war orphan. Couldn't even imagine what chain of events in the future would bring that about. It sounded a lot like something Mayuri would do. Even in the worst world line, Mayuri would still know the joy of having a child. Maybe he was wrong, but that still made me feel a little better. At the same time, I felt a little worried about whether she could raise the kid.
変じゃないか。なんでこの時代にマユリの娘が。
鈴葉と一緒に2036年から脱出してきたみたいなんだよ。
なんだって。
ところがさ、ミッションのために1998年の秋葉へ立ち寄って、そこではぐれちゃったって。鈴葉は必死になって探したんだけど見つからなかったらしい。
それで1998年に置いてきたのか。
探してる最中、タイムマシンが見つかりそうになったみたいで、かがりを残したままジャンプせざるを得なかったって言ってた。その後は数ヶ月単位の小さな移動を繰り返していろいろ手を尽くしたんだけど、2000年まで進んだところで燃料がギリギリになっちゃって。
で、本来のミッションを果たすために一気に2010年まで飛んだっていうことか。
I finished his sentence and Daru nodded.
けど鈴葉は今に来てからもまだ諦めずにずっと探し続けてるんだよね。つうことで、それとなく眉氏に聞いといてくれるかな。
俺が
10年ちょい前に自分と同じくらいの年の子が会いに来なかったかとか。
わかった。聞いてみるよ。
If I could find her, I wanted to. Adopt or not, she was the future Mayuri's daughter. I felt a little guilty about things with Suzuha. I wanted to help if I could. Just then, the maid brought my coffee. As I drank it, I looked over to Maho's seat. Varys had barely left her alone for an instant.
これからパンケーキをさらに美味しくする魔法をかけるにゃ。魔法？さあ、マホニャもご一緒に。世界がやばいにゃ陰謀にゃ。
What is this?
普通に食べさ
Can
せ
I
ても
just
ら
eat
え
my
ないかしら。
pancakes?
ここではこれが普通にゃ。ではどうぞ召し上がれにゃ。いただきます。マホニャ、垂れるにゃ。蜂蜜が垂れちゃうにゃ。あら。もう赤ちゃんみたいだにゃ。赤ちゃん。
It looked like they were having a good time. I think one of them's having a good time. I turned back to Daru. I think we'll hear the second thing from Daru and then we'll call it for today.
これおかりに聞いていいもんか迷ったんだけど。
なんだ、水臭いな。
やっぱやめた方がいいかな。
Just mumbled to himself and didn't say anything. It's rare for Daru to hesitate like this.
答えたくないと思ったら拒否するから。
じゃあ。
His hand went for his smartphone. Huh? Ryan? Can I just ignore him? No. This is about my secret jobs. Let's use this.
バイトというと。
Daru cut me off and pointed at my phone. I guess he wanted me to use it. Is something even more secret than what we just talked about? Secret job? You mean hacking? Yeah, basically. It's not all illegal stuff, though. I make online systems for manufacturers and banks, build admin servers, boring things like that. Oh, and I do virus analysis, make security software. There's data recovery. Oh, and making new encryption. Daru does everything, man. Seriously? So like a system engineer? Nothing formal like that. We've got a bit of a reputation. Our group gets jobs from all around the world. I call myself Dash. What's that short for? I can't tell you. Why? I just can't. I don't think I can help you with that. You were close to Kurisuma Kise, right? Huh? What do you mean? I want some help with her. I've hit a dead end with this job I'm doing. Job you're doing? What do you mean?
ごめん。やっぱやめとく。
Daru said that to me directly, and was about to put his phone away.
待て待てここでやめられたら気になって夜も眠れなくなるだろう。
でも
あんまり気を使うなよ。その方がかえって辛くなる。
わかったお。
He whispered and sent me another message on Ryan. Someone brought in a laptop and a portable hard drive to us a while back. Both of them have really strong full disk encryption on them and can't be booted without a password. Of course, you can't take the hard drive out and connect it to another PC either. The client hit up a bunch of places with no luck and finally came to us. Is the encryption that strong? Or that even full disk encryption can be broken by a pro. Not happening with this one. You know why? We were the ones who made it, baby. Huh? You guys made it? Then you can't deal with it yourself? I'm a believer that encryption needs to be a poison without an antidote or there's no point. So you don't even know how to break the code even though you made it? Exactly. We can break it, then other hackers who are just as good as us can break it too, right? And that's no good, duh. I see. They don't call me a super hacker. Otsu, short for Otsukare-sama, which means good work or way to go in net slang. I didn't... What's this got to do with Krisu? The laptop and hard drive belong to... What was that? What? So Krisu's belongings. I wanted to ask Daru directly, but stopped myself. Something seemed weird about the client, so I hit up the PC manufacturer's user registration database. I did that as a secret, by the way. I found it was registered under her name. Same address, too. It's definitely her. Who brought you the computer? Why would they have Krisu's computer? Sorry, the rules say I can't tell you that. Are they Russian? Huh? Nope. Why Russian? Nakabachi? No, if it's not, then I'm fine. So what do you want me to do? I want a hint, man. Know any words that Krisu might use for her password? I can't brute force the password, so I have to do it the hard way. I've tried her birthday, graduation dates and stuff, address and phone too. Not that I can imagine her picking them for a password. Also, any words commonly used in brain science are frequently used in her papers. I've got all that data. Now I'm trying stuff from her private life. Felt like the grave of someone I cared about was being violated. What kind of words did I associate with Krisu's private life anyways? Free Gohan and Kamehameha? My fork? Or maybe something to do with her dad? I tried to remember more about Krisu, but when I did, I started to think about her last moments. Please shut down that train of thought.
少し時間をくれないか。すぐには考えがまとまらない。
うん、了解。何か思い出したらでいいから。それに強制じゃないし、思い出したけど教えたくないならそれでいい。
ああ。
I sighed and gulped down my cold coffee. We jumped ahead to Christmas Eve. But I'm sorry, Mayuri, I think we're gonna have to stop there for the night.